Hello, my name is Akingbola. I'm a wedding planner and web designer, and I'm married to this amazing young man.
And my name is Paul Akingbola, a bilingual business analyst and translator by day and multilingual MC by the weekend. I've been married to this amazing young woman for nearly 5 years. No, 6 years. Nearly 6 years, actually.
5 years and 3 months, sir.
But it's not easy. Nearly 6 years.
Okay.
We take down. Okay, and we're blessed with an amazing little girl.
So I think it was in 2012 that we met. I'm not sure you remember though. I was a pre-degree student in Uni, yes, and you were in 300 level, and church sent you guys to come. I think orientation or something for the undergraduate student, not undergraduate, pre-degree student. Yes, you came to University of Ilorin's pre-degree school, and first time I saw him, I just really liked him. He was well dressed. And I think it was the French, the way you spoke. I'm like, why is this guy speaking French like this?
Okay. So it was this free tutorial.
Yes, free tutorial, yes.
Pre-degree students before their final exams.
Yes, yes. So when you came into school that day, I think it was number
French. Yes.
Yes, you took the French class, and I wasn't supposed to be there. I just came to check on my friend, and I was like, well, why is this person speaking French this way? And it was just really, really good. And I stayed just intrigued by how you spoke the French language, and I'm like, oh, really interesting. And really interesting. And that's the first time I actually got to see you. And then in church, you played sax. And you were always dancing. So it's hard to actually miss you. And I don't know, this is a good guy and all that. So I think that was the first time. And maybe it kind of turned into a crush, because my friend used to tease me about it. It's like, oh, it's that guy. She will not talk when she sees that guy and all that. So for a couple of years, I think we don't even really talk. He just knew me as Dami, and he thought of me as one young girl and all that.
So pretty much I do remember from that part, but I don't remember seeing you
at that class. I'm not sure you saw me.
But pretty much afterwards, I know you were very active also. When you got in eventually, in 100 level, you were already managing
the school,
or that pre-degree student,
also, yes.
I mean, directly in charge of all of the freshers, and even there was some part of the 200 level that you
I was still managing a lot in church.
Managing the boss, from campus
to pre-degree school,
And I had always thought of you as someone who was up and doing. I mean, you hardly find people at that level or at that level back then, right? Who could really take care of themselves, let alone coordinating people for them to be on time, to catch the bus.
Okay, but did you notice me then?
I mean, around the time, of course, I started to notice. That should be, I think that should be my finals, 2000. I left 2013 now.
Yeah,
so
2013.
2012, I should be.
Yeah, I remember we had a conversation. I saw that you made a 2-1, so I reached out and I'm like, oh, with all this you're dancing, you still no book. so I was just really proud. I was like, oh, it's my church guy. He plays sax and he traveled for this speaking competition and he won. So I just didn't expect that you were going to make it 2. I felt like maybe someone that is just managing. You looked very unserious. So when it was a 2-1, I'm like, okay, let me just say, well done, bro. So you know book like. So I just did that, and I think that was when you asked for my number, and we picked it up from there.
I think prior to then, there was this, I don't know if it was a show or whatever that I hosted, and then we met at that dinner.
Okay, I think it was one Valentine program in church.
No, before church. I don't know if it's arts or
Oh
science. I
yes.
hosted their
You were
beauty
their
pageant.
MC, yes, and I was
So that's
there.
when this church sister, you two, they
I was
come,
now dressed up, yeah.
you know.
I
And
actually
then
forget about all
after
the
that,
parts.
then I think that was, so it was me seeing someone who was always churchy,
In
you
another
know.
light,
So I'm
Abby.
like, of course, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
So that was the
clean.
first time
Okay,
you
so
noticed
we had a
me
conversation.
outside
I'm
of
like,
church.
what are you doing here? They say, are you two? Yeah, yeah. It's my faculty. And
Yeah, I
I think
think
so. It
that's
was afterwards that I now saw you in church again, that we eventually got to
now
talk, and I think that's
connected.
when we got talking.
Oh,
And
so
then
the
I had
church
invited
sister
you to
did not,
JCI,
the church
where I
sister
was
did not make you
president.
feel somehow I was
Okay,
this.
so generally for me, I've been a bit balanced growing up,
So
you
you
know,
don't like the,
and there is that natural tilt towards people who also have that balanced life, right? So it's not a matter of being caught in unholy activities, if you get what I mean. But whoever tells me that going for a student dinner was a sin, I think I had problems with such people.
okay.
You understand? So, but
So
it
seeing me
didn't
in
mean I
that
wasn't
place felt
active
like,
as a Christian. It didn't mean I wasn't active in
oh,
church. It
so that
didn't mean
was,
I wouldn't do well. You get what I mean?
mm,
So seeing you in that light it made it a lot more comfortable for me to
oh.
say, okay, I did take part in there, you know. So
I get
it's
it.
probably
That,
and I think taking it from there, um, to be honest, I liked you. Seeing you eventually after that dinner,
mhm.
and in church, I would see someone very active, up and doing. I'm like, you know, they're coordinating, you know. That was always moving me,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
I mean, these were things that were prior to the time done by men.
I
Yeah, I
know.
think it was more
In church,
masculine thing.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it
So
was
I think I was the first
male
female that had
coordinating
that role.
people, and
Okay,
I'm
okay.
like, and then you know, you were slim.
I think for me, it was just like, I didn't really believe that. I thought it was just like a silly crush for me. And then when you asked my number, like, oh, he's asking for my number. And it was quite interesting. And I think I actually made you wait for 6 months before I said yes. But I knew that I was going to say yes because although I already liked you. And it was
And
really
you
great.
never told me.
I didn't think that I had to tell you because I think I feel like there were a lot of other people that had maybe the same kind of silly crush. And I felt, okay, maybe because you're just someone that was in public, you were always out there in church, the pastor liked you, was always calling you. I felt like it was natural that most female felt like they liked you. And I didn't think it was, I don't know.
So you felt insecure.
No, I felt like it was too much. There were already too many people telling you. There was no need to
How did
further.
you think that?
I don't know. I just feel there was no need to
Because
further
your
rub
goal
your
could have
ego.
just.
I didn't
I'm
think it
just
was
saying
serious.
respectfully.
So when you asked me out, it was really interesting because my friends
But I
from
really do think that people should say it when they have it. You know, I mean, it's not bad
I've not
in
seen
the
it.
real
I've not
sense of
seen
it.
it end well. Sorry, but I'm not going to take that out. I didn't take that at least 1 year, and it ended well.
Hallelujah.
So I think that but I think I just understood that men liked to chase something and get it. I don't want to come and tell you that I like you. If you like me, say it. And it wasn't a do or die affair. I could date someone else. I wasn't like I have to date you. I liked you, and when you said you liked me, I was like, it was interesting because it wasn't hard to know that okay, I like this guy
And
already.
you now still gave me 6 months. Women.
I was young and I was in school, and you were out of school, and please.
You're scared of cop.
Yes. I think one of the dynamic that I like most about us is how we just really move from that place to almost getting married in I think 1 year and 6 months. Yes, and I was in final year. I was 21, and when he asked me to marry him, I felt like I was out of his mind. I said yes because I love you, and I just felt like. And because maybe I'd read so many novels that you say no now and then you just keep regretting that you said no to that person. So I didn't want that to be my narrative. And when you asked me to marry
But you say you prayed about it now.
I prayed about it. I knew that you were the one.
Okay.
I knew. I just didn't know if I wanted to be married at that time. So when you asked and I spoke to my mom and she was like, there was no worry. And I'm like, why is she saying there's no worry? I'm 21. And she felt like you've always made decisions yourself all along your life. And I feel like if you want to marry at 21, it's because she has thought that is okay. And when she told me, I expected her to say no. When she said it was okay, I'm like, what? So now I am the one to decide if I want to marry this man at this age. And for me, because of the dreams that I had and what I wanted to do in my life, I had to just really do a lot of research about that. People get married at 21 because I don't know anybody that got married at that age. And I didn't really see any example in Nigeria because I am a research person. I'm a pros and cons, draw the list and mark it. Why should I marry now? Why should I not marry now? So I kind of look for examples online. I think that's one of the reasons we even took this interview, because I feel like if there's someone out there that is 21 and is wondering if it ends well, then this is good. Like, I'm here 5 years down the line and I am thankful that I made that decision. But it wasn't really easy because it was a lot of prayers. I knew that I wanted to marry him. I knew that God had said this was him. I just didn't know that it was the right time. And if I was not going to pause my life or anything. Anybody I spoke to just felt like, he's a great catch, Marion. Like, it's not about him being a great catch. It's about, am I ready? Am I not sacrificing something for this marriage? I'm thankful I said yes. I'm happy that we did that. 5 years down the lane, I'm happy for where we are now and how it has not really changed how I've been able to see myself as a woman. I like what I am. I like how I'm navigating that journey, and I think that it's good.
Yeah, God has really been faithful. I mean, if we look at what people said, if we would recall most of the challenges that people had pointed out in the months preceding our, wedding, one would ordinarily expect it to be
Crazy and
so tough. I mean, way tougher. Yes. And I think it's a general problem for Nigerians. So if there's probably anyone out there, you don't have to let your decision be based on what people are saying regarding marriage. I think it's a lot harder to see great examples of people whose marriage are working because they are busy working on the marriage and on themselves. Yeah. So, but because negative news will always fly faster, all you always see is it doesn't end well, it doesn't end well. Because we, quite interestingly, I think a major hurdle for us will be the fact that we didn't have examples, right? Yes, we didn't have what we had from our sources, right? From where we sprang from, were things we never wanted to see in our life. Yes.
I know we had that conversation when we said, okay, we may not have the right example, but we have what we don't want to have. And I also feel like people scaring us also helped, because I practically read every book I could find on marriage. How does it work? How does it not work? So I feel like I was more prepared. And at the end of that 1 year mark, I felt like, but they said it was usually hard.
Okay,
I didn't
so
really
I remember
so hard.
Also that a lot of the guilt I probably would have had at things not work out fine was limiting you, right? I had a number of some of the people I confided in, some of the adults, even some mentors really would say, so she's still young, she's just leaving school. I mean, we got married just 2 months after convocation, yeah? Yes. So I was convocating for masters and you were convocating for bachelor, bachelor, yeah? And most of them were saying she hasn't seen life. And you got to school early, yes. And that was 20. Yeah, we were already talking about that was 20. And for them to feel like someone graduating school at 20, what was said to me was, I would regret not letting you explore life before I marry you. And I think this is not something, it's not something I ever told you. Yeah. I had friends, right? So for me, you knew the number of people in my life. As a matter of fact, most of my friends were rather scaring me. Oh, you be young boy now. I was 27. Yeah. And I had just worked for going to 2 years. Yeah. Calm down.
Are you pregnant?
Yeah, that was also the question. Yeah. Wait, what are you guys trying to cover?
Yeah, I'm like we're covering something actually.
And it was more of this that also crippled me in some way. I was really bothered. I was really bothered. I'm like, so which is, to be honest, one of the reasons you probably wouldn't have noticed. You, of course, you know that. Yeah. Anything you want to do,
You always
I
make sure
want
I
you to
do
do
it.
it.
Yes. Oh, so that's. I think I should thank those people.
Because I
Yeah,
didn't ever
honestly.
want to. I mean, I saw example of some angry women also around.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I know a
Yes.
few
Yes.
who
They felt
felt
like
handicapped
marriage
by
had
the fact
handicapped
that,
them.
you
Yeah.
know, they had chosen to get married at the time they did to the person to whom
Oh,
they
so
did.
they
And
were always trying
so
to.
it was a bit of that. I don't want to ever find myself. By the way, I'm not being coerced to do this, but really, we thank God. But I think if you want to share, basically, the really, really massive challenges, it would be the issue of not having example.
So I think the second challenge majorly was getting pregnant that fast. Like I think I don't know, maybe I just expected that, oh, we're just going to not do anything, that we're not going to be pregnant. I didn't think that was, I think it was first month, we got married in
Yeah, but we couldn't
December.
have done anything.
We got married in
When they were
December.
saying we couldn't have done the family planning,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yes.
so and doing anything around family planning,
Say
they say
virgin
virgin
womb,
womb,
like it's not really advisable and all
so
those things.
we didn't like that. I mean, I particularly didn't want the baby immediately.
It wasn't like I wanted the baby immediately, but it
But
happened.
you were scared.
So we got married in
You were
December.
scared
I was scared about what?
that if we didn't have it, if for any reason we have delay when we want it,
We'll now blame
there would be a
ourselves.
problem.
Yeah, yeah. Because of my mom. Yes, I think those things too scare me. Because my mom, when she got married, she had
Because
this.
in my own head, I felt that, oh, me, I want to enjoy the bosom of the wife of my youth.
Really?
Alone.
Before baby. Okay.
Before we close
So
eyes,
I think
wake
what
up like
you
this.
don't know is, maybe was it like a preconceived notion? Because she spent 4 years like trying to conceive and nothing happened. She just felt like, so she told me about this, that don't try to do anything because you don't know what could happen in the future. So I was just a little bit scared of trying to do family planning and then it's going all wrong. So I was just, we're trying the different kind of methods that didn't eventually work, and I think we got pregnant in January and we married in December. It was honestly crazy. I'm like, what? We're pregnant already.
It was not the third month now, it was the second month.
Second month, yes, January. December, January. Like it was quite fast and crazy.
It's nothing. Whoa,
I was
whoa. I'm not even enjoying
yeah,
myself.
it actually felt like we didn't really enjoy much because it was from
mean,
marriage to vomiting and then to big tummy and then to
I've suffered in this life.
sorry, Kwele. So I think,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think also, I think we should have had more conversations about that because I think I had fear of waiting and then regretting.
No, we both
waiting.
knew. It's just that. And I also think at the time I think by the second month, you said, I think
We should
we
try.
should wait.
Yeah, I think we should wait.
They
and
have
then
showed up. Father has answered.
honestly, I didn't think it was that easy to get pregnant. I'm like, what happened just now? Like, it felt like,
that's one of
why
the
just
reasons-
pregnant like that?
That's one of the reasons when probably Almond does something and they're there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
calm down. Yeah, so I think it was quite shocking to know that we're pregnant, and it just really turned the dynamic differently.
everything
changed. Yes, because I was vomiting a lot. It wasn't really easy, and
You know, you also have some drama.
it wasn't drama. It was
Sometimes
legit
we
pregnant.
don't know which one is.
I
real.
don't do drama. I'm not a drama queen. Don't say that
Did
drama
you not
thing
wake
again.
me one night? You say you wanted shower, kilo virgin.
It wasn't shama, it was amala. I was legitly
actually.
I was craving that amala. I wasn't joking about
I
it.
don't believe in craving. You knew it.
D.
So
So you think I'm going to ask you for
so I
amala
did
when I
some.
don't feel like eating amala? It was actually a strong craving for the amala.
You knew my position regarding
About craving. You
for
are not
food.
a woman. You don't get to have a position on anything that has to do with pregnancy. Yes, until
But you said we felt pregnant. So we were pregnant together.
But you don't know how I'm feeling. I can only tell you how I was feeling. And
But
if
you
I
were
said
always
I
telling me, and I was
wanted
always there.
Amala, you should have
I
gotten
mean, it felt
Amala.
wicked.
Honestly, when I see people that say
Amala.
their husband go all the way for them for craving, I'm really jealous because you did not go for my craving. Yes, you didn't look for my
all.
especially the
Let's
Amala
quote
part.
these things well.
When I
For
crave
all.
something, you said you didn't believe in craving.
Amala 2 a.m. Abba.
You could have made it.
So I really did have issue with that, but that's by the side. So when Almond eventually came,
yeah, when she eventually came, I think what I had tried also is I had tried to be very intentional by making sure she had a different room and all that. I think that different room thing, it worked, but the sex drive was what I didn't expect. Like, I didn't expect that I was just not going to feel like having sex. It was really crazy. Like, and I feel like it was a roller coaster from getting married so quickly.
See, I know I'm a man.
Who said you're not a man? Well done. So, this stop making me laugh. Let me talk. So I tried to be very intentional, making sure that she did not.
I
she
know
did
you
not
tried.
Affect,
it doesn't take away my.
She did not affect our dynamic.
Pain.
It's been years.
It was
now.
painful. I give you the credit. Yeah, and the mere fact that you ended up, is it finding the solution that made it work?
Yeah, it was DDK's course actually.
Okay, yes, but first, what was the problem? So Almond came, and then I asked the question. I don't know who I asked.
You asked the doctor when I was going to be ready, and he made that a yardstick for anything. And
you say I should.
The man said 3 weeks. I'm like, what?
3 weeks.
3 weeks? Why is it that early that we're going to?
That was the first problem, because in your mind you have shut your mind that it has to be like 10 weeks.
Because
man will suffer. The Bible says man shall not live by bread alone.
And that's why you should not live by sex.
I did not want to be eating just bread. And you now left me with only food of the tummy.
Goodness,
food of the belly.
Please.
And it was, I told you now, it was really devastating. It was
difficult, yes.
Because you also were, I think roller coaster of emotions. I understood all of that.
I think that was one of my challenges, actually. I just felt like I woke up and I became a mom. I'm like, wait.
And I remember telling you, but I said we should wait.
But
you say no. No.
Baby was
every other night.
Yeah, it was honestly that's a big challenge for me. I felt like
so I will be encouraging.
You're not letting me talk.
Because I'm the one feeling pain. Let me say my pain.
Oh yeah, talk about your pain.
I ate only food, but I was sex deprived.
Okay.
And all along I would never try to. I mean, I totally understood the emotions,
But it didn't take away the fact that you needed sex. But you understood what I was going through.
I was taking cognizance of the fact that you needed that time alone. You needed that freedom. It was always a lot. I mean, I saw it. I saw what she could be.
Yeah, but I didn't think you truly really understood it. Because I felt like I had to...
if I understood it, I will not want to...
No, I feel like if you understood this, maybe you will have taken it more differently. Like, you were understanding, but you were frustrated. And you were making me see your frustration at every point.
At every point?
Yes.
Me?
That was going through.
I told you that if you saw one...
You had already felt
there
500.
Is 9 on set.
Okay.
Me, I'm a man.
We heard now, Mr. Man. So let me really shed a bit light on this challenge for me. I think it was that I was navigating a lot of things at the same time. I was just trying to be an adult, and then I become a mom suddenly, and it was really, 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 really. I don't know if there's words for it. Really, it just felt like a baby just came, and then somebody dropped it in my house. I could not drop her anywhere else. It has to be me every time. I'm like, what? Like, I am the person that is in charge of this child. Actually, and you had to go to work. You didn't feel like you had to stop anything in your life. And I didn't like that. I feel like, no, I understand when they are trying to advocate for the female child. We do a lot. Because I had just given birth to a baby, my life was paused, and then you now travel to Germany, enjoying every time. Like, this man does not even feel
Germany
like
was before now.
it was just immediately after we gave birth.
Malaysia.
Okay, Malaysia, yes, we went to Malaysia,
Yeah,
and you
how
had
did I
so much fun. And every time I saw those pictures, I'm like,
Almond
wait,
was no,
no,
was she
just
born?
listen. She was actually born when you were there.
No. I went to Malaysia in September now.
Before she was born.
in October.
But I wasn't feeling well.
It
So
was
every
just
time
2
you were
weeks,
going
Abi.
through all those time, I felt like, so this person can just wake up and travel. And you just left
But
me
you did
here.
not tell me.
I didn't know how to express it even, because it was more of jealousy and anger, everything combined, feeling like, wait, this marriage thing is not balanced, because you are living your life every time and I'm the one carrying pregnancy, looking big and not being able to. So I felt for me it was, I'm still young. Why did I really accept this thing? So like,
I'm glad
so
I can
I,
over this.
honestly, I enjoyed the marrying part. He married me, but when it was the part of let's have baby and I'm the one staying at home, pausing my life, not being able to give, I'm like, why didn't I get a job before I get this? Before I even thought of getting pregnant. It was honestly, it paused a lot of things for me, and because I was seeing my friends also, they were moving on with their lives. NYC was out. They were getting jobs. Like, what? Like, I have a baby now, and
Well, but
there is
you were
nothing.
not suffering.
It wasn't about suffering. It was more of
You had
fulfillment.
my money.
No, you're not getting the gist.
But can we look at it from this way?
Which point?
I think also what made it even more difficult was the fact that we got in, we got married, we loved ourselves, but we didn't ask some realistic questions.
Yes.
And I think if I had asked that, you'll be bored though.
And like,
Staying
what's the
at
plan
home.
to get a
Fine,
job?
you had an event planning business.
Yeah.
That's not something you'd wake up every morning, dress up, go to work, right? Events, I mean, even the biggest event planners, do they really have event every day, every weekend?
Really starting
You
out
know.
at that time.
And you were starting out.
Questions is what I want, like, anybody to take away from here.
Yeah.
So if any situation is given, just ask realistic questions like, okay, if we get pregnant now, what's the end point? Because I think we didn't ask that. It was just the lovey-dovey mode, and we just wanted to have a baby and everything. Because for me, it felt like, why did I think it was the right thing to do this now? Because
Why
if
did you not think to get
it, like, finish
Why
that
did you not think to
NYC, get a
settle?
job, and then
Like, they
if you're
carry-
pregnant,
they
take a
calculate
maternity
somehow.
break, all of those stuffs. Yeah, I think
And,
if
and,
we had
and I
asked,
think people need to talk more about this.
yes,
There is no late
and
comer.
all this ways
You
when
remember-
is baby
you remember this
coming
other
conversation. Yes, because people already asking us of a baby.
Couples have plans.
And they're saying 9
You know,
months.
in spite of that, there was
wedding
pressure.
day, they were always saying 9 months after we'll come and help you dance. And I'm
It
like,
was
this
one
is-
of the reasons it was also harder for you.
yes, because I didn't think
Because
that.
by the 10th
I
month,
honestly
there is
didn't
a
think
problem,
that it was possible to
society-wise.
get pregnant and just feel like I'm not going to have a baby. I think that's why I'm being stubborn now. I'm going to wait until I'm ready for that second child. Like, I am going
And
to
that's
be
even
ready.
something we're facing already.
Yes, like even
Like,
now, people are
so
already calling
Ali-
babies already for what's
Ali is
happening. I'm
for-
like, you people should calm down. You cannot even pressure me this time around.
is-
I'm going to
who
be
is-
pregnant when I want to be
And
pregnant.
the interesting thing is, I think I've made it easy for myself. So if you ask me for a child, and I tell you when I see you a lot, I'll give you a baby.
They are allowed to
That's what I say.
I mean, they give us money now.
Okay. It's simple because you want me to have another child.
I think people just ask this.
I remember
out of
having this conversation,
concern.
like a heart-to-heart one with a cousin of mine, a very older one.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had the conversation with my dad.
Oh, he asked you already.
He asked me, it was even before our last birthday.
Oh,
He
yes.
said, is it that you are trusting the Lord?
I'm not trusting
can
the
come. So I just asked him a question. I said, Dad, do you recall recently me waking up without us having any prior conversation and just sending you 500K? He said, no.
But
So don't ask me for baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I know.
and the moment you heard that, I was like, oh, you this boy with your perception.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
let people
yes.
have baby when they
Yes.
want it.
Yes.
Let-
I think
it's not,
people
in
also
fact,
pressure.
sometimes it's not even the
people
money.
also
People forget
pressure
that it's not about the
themselves.
money.
No, people also pressure themselves unnecessarily. They didn't
Whoa.
force us to be pregnant. They were just asking questions,
See,
societal
In
expectations.
a society where certain things are given, see, the way Nigerian society is wired, one, they don't want you to ever want to imagine getting married
And waiting.
They don't understand because.
But I feel like
it's something they don't understand. They can't imagine it, and that's the problem.
I know. But
so now it is not the pressure on people.
No, what people should know now is that
why do we look good? Hold on.
It is
why
not people's problem. Eventually,
no,
it will be your own problem.
We need to acknowledge
so when they're
the
asking
existence of the problem.
Okay, there's a problem.
There is a problem.
People expect, even my mom,
trying to
everybody
it or ignore
expecting
a
baby. I know.
You can't overlook
and it felt like you would have failed.
Your dad will pressure you. Yeah. Your mom will pressure you. I know. You can't silence them.
Okay.
Right? They were pressured. It's transferred from generation to generation.
What's the solution?
The solution is what we're advocating for. Give birth when you want it.
Yes.
So we have one.
Yes.
We have
Give birth when you want it.
We will have one when we want. It's sometimes that's what
I think we're there now.
It's not about the money.
Yes.
Sometimes people think, hey, you're working.
Yeah. Okay, looking
so I want
good.
to have a life. I don't just want to have kids, and that's all my life is about.
I know.
And I can't even give them the kind of life that they deserve in a world where pressure is at its peak, in a world where it's just naturally judgmental, in a world where even with the best of education, by default, it's filled with struggles, in a discriminational world. So if people need to know this, let them bear it in mind that you have a kid when you can have it. And you don't only live in a marriage to have children. You have a life. Build your own life too. That's it.
Yeah, I think that was
that's what we realize, and that's what's working for us. So we build a thick skin. All this is
now we have to
sometimes when you don't post, I remember when you don't
thought I was
post,
legitimately pregnant. Like, we thought we're having a baby.
I'm just, what's wrong with this one?
No, I think, but now there's a way you can.
Picking day, my body.
Yeah, not just.
You get.
I think that. Aside the pressure, I also think that it's more of a personal thing. We want to, because honestly, now I see I'm not pressured now. Why is the pressure not affecting me now? And why did it affect me that time? I think it was more of personal, like you yourself, knowing what you want. I think because I was quite young, I just felt like people wanted to be pregnant, so let's get pregnant. But now I'm not ready. When I'm ready, you see another baby. There's already one. So I'm not pressured now. But then, it wasn't like it was a pressure. It was just like it was expected. But we could have actually asked ourselves the questions like, is it reasonable to have a baby now? Because it's until now that I stopped asking myself questions like, what if I had gotten a job then? Because honestly, many times I still go back and say, this child.
You're enjoying your entrepreneurial journey.
I know.
I mean, you've had the opportunity to explore.
I know.
If you look at it, how did you find yourself all the way from event planning into, tilting towards tech?
Web design and all that.
So, I imagine 3 kids in your life right now. It doesn't mean it's not possible.
People have grace.
See, let's be sincere.
I think it's also knowing yourself.
I think people don't. We want God to take care of us. He has promised to. But he didn't say we should not sit down
and ask questions, put paper to pen.